Hello everyone, this is Kinetic Mike, and today's topic is weights before cardio, a 30-year experiment. Yeah, so I've had 30 years of experimenting, whether to do weights before cardio or cardio before weights. I'm going to tell you what I think, tell you what some of the science is, and let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is define your goal. So, do you want to increase strength or hypertrophy, which is muscle building? Some examples would be, powerlifting, bodybuilding, Olympic lifting. Or do you want to focus more on endurance? So, maybe you can do marathons or triathlons. Or a combination of any of the two or three. For example, strength, hypertrophy, and endurance. So you would be looking for overall fitness. You could do obstacle course racing. Maybe you want to pass some military fitness programs. So that's the first thing, define your goal. Let's start with strength and hypertrophy. Okay, muscle building, right? Okay, well, basically, you really shouldn't do any long distance runs if you're focusing on strength and hypertrophy. And the reason is it really interferes with muscle growth and the strength building process. So, if you wanted to do cardio, such as, maybe 50-yard sprints, short runs, walks, or cycling 1 to 2 miles 3 times per week, that's really not going to interfere too much. It might even be beneficial. But going 5 mile runs, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Your strength and hypertrophy are both gonna suffer. So in that case, you're gonna do the weight training before any cardio or maybe no cardio. Okay, endurance. So this one is a no-brainer here. You're gonna run before you weight train. And the reason is, exhausted muscles that'll take away your stabilization, your running form, and the energy required to complete a long run in a competitive time. A few weeks ago, I tried this. I did some squats. I went for a run, and wow, it was a massive drag coefficient. It sucked. So, if you're going to do this, what I would recommend is you would run in the morning and then weight train in the evening if you have the time. Take naps between the training sessions. That'll help out. Okay, so now let me tell you about my current goal, which is the third one here: strength, hypertrophy, and endurance. I want it all. So, like I said, this is my current goal. I'm going to do the weight training first, then the cardio. So, you see me here doing back and biceps. And then after this, I'm going to go for a long run. It actually was only going to be about a 5 mile run, but for some crazy reason, I just got euphoric and made it into an 8 mile run. It totally crushed me. But my weight training was spot on. I felt strong. I felt good. And the reason I do the weights before the running here is I don't want my muscles depleted of glycogen when pushing heavier weights. It's pretty dangerous. So you're going to get fatigued, which is going to increase the risk of injury, and it really decreases the amount you can lift. A couple months ago, I went for a run, came back, and I tried to do bench. I could do bench. It wasn't that I couldn't do it, but there was nowhere near the weight. I couldn't push nowhere near the weight. So not a good idea. Okay. Now I've had personal experience with all three of these. So, for example, 20 years ago, my goal was strength and hypertrophy. So then I did the weights first, then I did short, low intensity cardio sessions 3 to 4 times per week. Basically, I was living in Japan, so I'd ride my mountain bike to and fro work, and it was very low intensity. My goal at that time was pretty much to get as big as I could get, to lift as much as I could lift, and I kept the cardio down. And the result was I gained 25 pounds in 3 years. I gained a lot of muscle, and I got really strong, and it was very low cardio. 30 years ago, let's see, what was I doing? Yeah, my main goal was strength. I was competing in Olympic lifting, and I was going to state events. I placed third in the state of Arizona. And then I went on to do nationals. I placed fourth in the nationals. And the result was I got really, really strong. A lot of that was due to form, but you know, you gotta be strong to lift those weights, to do the form correctly, to lift the weights. And that was zero cardio. I didn't do anything, nothing. Now, 35 years ago, when I was in high school, I think that's about right, about give or take a couple years in there, I was doing wrestling and cross country. And I did cross country to shed the weight so that I could make my the weight I wanted to wrestle in, which at that time was 112. So I cut heavily. And both sports are cardio based. You would think wrestling was based in strength, but it is. But most of it is just cardio. And I did a few weight sessions in between, but my strength was just I was nothing. I really couldn't lift any measurable amount of weight. But my cardio was tops. You know, I could run 10 miles, go wrestle. It was really good. And my goal at that time really was to wear down my opponents. And most of the time I did just that for wrestling. So the result really, high endurance, no hypertrophy, and little to no strength gained. What's the temp? What's the temp? 99. I don't know if you can see that there. 99 degrees. All right. Well, it feels like 150. Got 99. We're gonna get through it, man. Just like I know you will too in your workouts. Super camouflage. Now watch what happens when we pan out. Can't even see him. And he moved. That's the only reason I could see him. These are horned lizards. We call them horned toads, or some people call them horny toads. When I was a little kid, I used to catch these things all the time. And then we turn them loose because they don't fare well in captivity. Let me see if I can get this guy. So here he is. Here he is right there. Look at the horns on there. Those are, I wouldn't say they're sharp, but they are prickly. I think what happens if an animal tries to swallow it, he'll tilt his head down and it won't go down and they'll cough him up. But there he is. Really good camouflage. Look at that. Just like, that's the kind of ground that he's in. These guys eat a lot of ants. Okay, you ready to go? There you go. There he goes. Horned toad. And they come out around August, September as well. Where I got buzzed by that rattlesnake is just right there. All right, dude, you need to eat some ants. They eat some wicked stinging ants. Okay, little dude, have a good day. Okay, so there it is, right there. Oh, a little over 8 miles. So the main takeaway is this: you've got to define your goal. Then you're going to arrange the weights and cardio accordingly. And then, relentlessly pursue your goal until it has been achieved. Now, I'd like to leave you with a little quote from a great Ryonin samurai, Miyamoto Musashi. And he says, "There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within." Mata kondo, minasan.